Cool. Who's on this call for the first time today? Thumbs up, Jenny. I can see you. I can't see everybody, but first time. Okay, cool. So these calls are a lot more sort of how do I say, casual calls, if you will. It's not a coaching call. It's not. You'll see when we get into the chatting part or whatever. Then you'll see that it's we open up the conversation to everybody. There's no wrong or right answers. Okay, it's just perspectives. And what can be really, really helpful if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or even if you're in the corporate space, is hearing other people's perspective on certain topics or certain challenges, right? What you also often then see is that you're not the only person in the world struggling with what you're struggling with. And that can be helpful to realize it's just part of the journey. Okay. While Miles is setting up, so what's going to happen is we're going to do a breakout room. We're going to split you up into groups of 3 or 4. And that's just really a 8 or 9 minute quick connect. Okay, if you can just briefly introduce yourself, where you're from, what is it you do, and if you can just keep it short as well. This is not a time for you to do a 5-minute pitch on your business. Okay, I always say this, right? For somebody to even think of doing business with you, or even buy something from you, they first need to know you, like you, and trust you. Okay, so at the moment, if nobody knows you, pitching your business for 5 or 10 minutes is a futile exercise, because nobody really, to be very honest, if we have to call it like it is, they don't really care at this stage because they don't really know you. Okay, so that's why we're always focused on building relationships, connecting, actually having conversations. That's how you get to know people. That's how you start building relationships. There's a few things I want to share before we get started. And if you're watching the recording of this, if you just watch this first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, you don't even need to watch the rest. If you just watch this, it would be super helpful, because I'm going to share some hard truths. And please, whenever I share these kind of things, and that's always from a place of service. Okay, it's not coming from a place of judging you or judgment. It's from a place of service. I've been running this community for 2 years now, just short of 2 years. There's a few things that I've seen in the 2 years, patterns that I've seen. Okay, and I want to share some of these patterns that I see. So what do they always say? If the shoe fits, then, if it doesn't, then maybe it's just a good reminder, if nothing else. So something I want to say with the networking and building networks. Okay, I always know when people are struggling in their business, because I get messages like, "Hey, Quinton, I want to start networking. Can you help me network," or whatever. And it's usually a sign when they now down shit street, for lack of a better word. Then they want to start networking. Then they want to start engaging in that. Okay. The problem with that is you should have been doing it 3 months ago, 6 months ago. Okay. So that's something that I see. And something I want to say is, what I've seen in this community, Miles is our co-host today, Camilla's in our community. If there's somebody else, please forgive me if I don't recognize everybody. But Miles will tell you also, in the time that he's been a lot more involved in the community, is there's a pattern that's seen, is people are lazy. I don't know how else to put it. Okay. And really, if you're running your own business, or you want to start a business, especially and stuff like that, you're going to struggle if you don't sort of deal with that mindset. Let's call it a mindset, okay, of being lazy. I see it all the time. People are lazy, okay, and then they wonder why they struggle in their business. Okay, you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent with networking. Okay, it's not a thing you just do every now and again when you need some clients, and then it's a consistency game that you got to play. Okay, and oftentimes I get so many messages with people that send me a message and say, "Quinton, I need to get my business out there. Can you please introduce my business to your network?" Now, when you send me a message like that, what you're actually telling me is, "Quinton, please, can you help me build my business?" Now, I don't know about you. I'm building my own business, so I don't really have time to build other people's businesses for them. Okay, and that's what it comes actually from. It's almost like a victim kind of mindset, right? It's a mindset of, somebody needs to come and save me. Somebody needs to help me. Okay. Nobody's going to come and save you. I want to just say that. Okay. Nobody's going to come and help you. It's 100% on your shoulders. Okay. There's tools like our community and our app and things like that. People will assist for sure and support and all of those things. But if you're not happy with the outcomes that you're getting, you need to take responsibility and understand it's 100% on your shoulders. Okay, everything you're experiencing is 100% created by you in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so I want to just share this because I think a lot of people need to actually hear what I'm sharing, because they live in a space where they not quite in touch with how things actually work. And that's also, I want to say this, in our community or the app, who here is on the app at the moment? Okay, cool. All right. So we are, just so you know, we're going to start moving. All of this stuff is going to be only accessible through the app. We've made a membership that's only 50 Rand a month, very accessible now. Okay, 50 Rand a month. I want to say this, the tips that I'm sharing on a daily basis in those posts, if you've noticed, pretty much every day I'm sharing a post around owner versus victim, having agreements instead of expectations, all these principles. It's our coaching principles. If you just took one of those every week and implemented in your business or did it, you would change the direction of your life or your business in 6 months. Okay. These things that I'm sharing is not, it's stuff that I've learned or been given through my coaching. I've spent hundreds of thousands of rands on my own coaching. Okay. So the stuff that I'm sharing there is stuff that I typically only share with my one-on-one clients. Okay. Obviously I share it a lot in a lot much deeper form, because obviously when we're coaching, we can do that. But those little bits that I'm sharing, please, if you recognize some of that stuff, go and just implement one of those things every week, and you'll see how the direction of your of your life and even your business changes just with some of those things. So do not estimate those little things that I'm sharing, in that they are super helpful. Okay, so I just wanted to start the call with that, because I know people watch the recording. So if you just watch this piece of the recording, it would be helpful for you to understand how networking works in some way, that it's a long game, it's an ongoing game, it's a relationship game. Okay, I can't tell you how many people want to come and they just want to vomit their business on us and share their business. Okay, that's not how you network. And that's also what we're doing in the app, is to help people in how to network effectively. Okay, there's actually there's a process behind it. Okay, it's not just going to a call like this and then, okay, now I've networked. This is the start of the networking. After this, what you will do is connect with one another in a deeper form through connect calls. That's why I ask everybody in the community to do a 20-minute connect call with people during the week. Even if you do 2 or 3 a week, okay, that's how you grow your network. That's how you start building relationships. And all of a sudden, you do that for 6 months, you're in a completely different space because of it. Okay. So, anyway, I think that's enough for one day. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the breakout room now. I think Miles probably ready. And then we're going to come back. We're going to do another breakout room. And then I've got a few questions that I'm going to ask. And then we'll sort of get into the discussion part of it. And yeah, Miles, are you ready? Cool. Miles will open the breakout rooms now. Just accept, and then you'll be transferred into the breakout room.
Hello.
Cool.
Hi,
I think
yeah.
everybody's back in. Miles is going to take a few seconds just to set up the next breakout room. Something I just wanted to remind everybody is, I know I let quite a few people join the call late. Just for future, please note that our calls all start on the agreed time. Usually I'll let people, if you get a little bit stuck or whatever, a minute or two, but usually I don't let people in after 5-10 minutes. Okay. I always say this: to be on time for the call, be in the breakout room. You'll see we don't open the call before the start time. So you'll be logged on a few minutes before, wait for it. As soon as we start the call, you'll be let in. So you're ready in that. If you're trying to join the call at the time that we start, you're already late. Okay. So please, because we usually don't let people join in, that it upsets the flow of the call when people are trying to join 10 minutes into the call. I sometimes have people trying to join 40 minutes into the call. Okay. It's you're not late anymore. You're almost ready for the next call the next month. You're so late. So please, yeah, just as a side note or whatever, the best is to, and again, you know, I always say this: how you do everything, how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay, if you're late for this call, there's probably a good it's probably there's a good chance that you probably do that with other things in life, maybe business meetings, maybe you're late for other things in that as well. So it really is important. If you can be in this call, the coaching in a way has already started, if you call it like that, right? Because you're ready, you're on the call a few minutes early. Those kind of things, do not underestimate how important little things like that are, because if you do that on this call, you're probably doing it in other areas in your life, and it filters into everywhere. Okay, if you're rushing around, probably a good sign to also slow down a little bit. Okay, something that I teach when I coach people, and that is slowing down. Now, slowing down is not like what I thought it was when somebody first told me this. I thought it was sitting on your ass doing nothing. It's not that kind of slowing down. It's just being present. Okay, it's being a focused leader. Okay. So yeah, Miles, are you ready with that next room? Cool. So Miles is going to open the room, and then that's the last breakout room. Then we're going to come back into the main room. Cool. I think everybody's back in the main room. So again, I want to just emphasize today, the format, if you will, of this call today is, this is not a coaching call. This is open to everybody. So please, there's no wrong perspective. There's no right or wrong answers to any of this stuff that I'm asking. Okay. It's super important for you to, sorry, just give me a sec. Oh, my phone's. So it's super important for you to share what's on your mind, okay? Because it might be something small that you think, ah, that's not important, but it may be something that somebody else actually needs to hear, okay? And something that could shift where they're at the moment, okay? Everybody here is in a different space or different part of their journey, okay? If you're a little bit further than the next person, it can be super helpful for you to share some stuff. Okay, it's not about knowing everything about everything or being some guru or whatever. If you're a little bit further, you can help somebody else. You can share a perspective that somebody else could find very, very helpful. Okay, so the first question, I'm going to just ask a question, and then I think to avoid people like over talking over each other and stuff like that, if you can just there is a reactions tab at the bottom on Zoom. There's a raise your hand function like that. And then when you raise your hand, I'll get to you, and then we'll just go through whoever's first in the queue kind of thing. So if you've got something to share, just raise your hand and I will get to you. I want to ask you a question, and today I'm going to focus a little bit around networking specifically. So I want to ask you, what's the most valuable connection you've made in your career, and how did you meet them? Or yeah, how did you meet them? So let me actually quickly, I'll post it in the thing in the chat box. Can everybody see the link to the app that I posted while you were in the breakout room? When you see the chat box, can you see the link that I shared, or can you not see it? No, you can't see it. Okay, cool. I just wanted to, I was testing something. Okay, cool. So there's the, oh no, wait, hold on. I'm sending direct messages. Give me a sec. There you go. Everybody should see that now. So what's the most valuable connection you've made in your career, and how did you meet them? I can't, I'm not going to even try and pronounce that name. I'm going to go with your surname, Nklang Ning. Go for it. Sorry. I'm
Good
sure I'm
morning,
not
good
the
morning,
only
good
person
morning,
that struggles
everyone.
with that.
No, I think I get that every day. That's actually what I use as an icebreaker whenever I'm networking, and just
Okay.
see who can pronounce my name, and that sort of just breaks things up a bit. So just to answer your question about the most valuable connection that I've made in my career, I actually had an opportunity last year to have lunch with the Chinese billionaire. This is a guy who's exited an IT company. I think his exit early in the maybe early 2010s was around 26.8 billion US dollars. Right? And how I actually got this opportunity to sort of make this network was through an intermediary, or through a connection that I've formed professionally. So I'm in the capital raising and capital education space. So we work a lot with capital raisers, and as a result, we deal a lot with M&As and other sort of business transactions. And I focused on building a relationship with this one intermediary, not knowing, of course, the sort of network that he's exposed to. And for me, it was all about sincerity. Right. So how I would go about it is, whenever I would have a meeting with him, which was maybe once every 2 weeks, is we'd meet for coffee. Right. We'd meet for coffee, we'd set a meeting time. The meeting would maybe be for like an hour, but we'd ensure that the first 40 minutes of that meeting, we don't speak about anything work related. Right? So the first 40 minutes of the meeting, I know it's a pretty unorthodox approach, but the first 40 minutes of the meeting would really be just about life, would be about his experiences, would be about his travels, and I would do the same. So would share, would exchange. So it'd be more of a social sort of connection that we form first. And then the last 20 minutes of every single meeting, that's when we sort of dive into the nitty-gritties and the nuances of what we're there to speak about. And through that, I think we sort of developed a very good relationship, both professionally and personally. And he actually came across this opportunity to do a transaction for this guy. Right? It was a maybe a £250 million transaction where this guy was trying to buy a gold refinery, and he sort of put my name forth and say, hey, I actually know someone who works with financial modeling. There's a guy who can do business valuations, and I think we can have him as part of our team that's going to be doing the due diligence. And yeah, that's how that came about. And we had lunch with this guy, and yeah, still in contact with them today. So yeah.
So the second part of that question, just the brief, is how did you meet them? How did that meeting come about?
Yes. So like I said, so the meeting came about. It was a soft introduction. So this guy that I built a relationship with, right, through work, then introduced me to this Chinese billionaire, right?
Okay.
So he sort of mentioned my name in rooms that I wasn't yet in, and that was because we had built a relationship that was beyond just professional. He sort of knew the sort of principle, my values and principles, and how I like to do things as a person. And of course, that went alongside whatever competencies I then have. And in that, he felt confident, I guess, to sort of suggest or bring my name up in that particular room. And yeah, so this guy sort of softly introduced me to the Chinese billionaire. Then that's how it came about.
Okay, so the short answer was this was an introduction, right?
Yes, soft
Okay.
introduction. Yeah.
It's important for us to understand, because you'll start seeing patterns as this question is being asked for a very specific reason. And you'll start seeing that for everybody, you'll start seeing the patterns. Okay. The short answer of all of that was it was through an introduction. Okay. Somebody introduced him to that person. Who else? Otherwise, I play this game. If there's no hands up, then I'm going to just start randomly picking people. And then this is usually when people start getting nervous and start smiling and start laughing, like Jenny. So let's go with Jenny, and then I'm going to come to Camilla. Jenny, go for it. What's one introduction that you've maybe...
Okay, so I woke up one morning about 2 years ago, and I received a message on my phone from a friend who I hadn't heard from, hadn't seen in a very long time. And it was an advert for life coaching. And I thought to myself, what is this? Such nonsense. But anyway, I responded very politely. I said, thank you. What is this? Why are you sending it to me? And he said, I thought you could use it. And I said, no, thank you. And he said, no, I got word. And I'm like, word from who? Anyway, so I took it on. I did the course. And then in doing the course, I wasn't mad about it. It was all about goal setting, which I thought, we've heard too much about this. But then the very last session that I did was on NLP, and that really got me. So I signed up for another course with the same school, and I ended up in Bloberg with the principal coach. His name is Barry. And this is the man who like really changed things up for me. So for 10 days, I stayed in Bloberg and I did a very intense course on NLP. And it has been absolutely phenomenal. I love the way it works. I use it all the time with my clients, on myself, on everyone, unsolicited. So it was, like you said, an introduction from, I don't know, it was Word.
All right, cool. But something important also for everybody to see is with all of this, there's some action that needs to be taken, right? Okay, so like and please forgive me. I don't know. I'm gonna just call you Onto, or I don't know what the guy that spoke first. What is your nickname? Surely you must have a nickname. Otherwise, you're gonna.
Yeah, so I actually have a second name. It's much easier. Second name is James.
James. There we go. Okay, that I can definitely pronounce. Thank you. Why
Yeah,
don't you
sure,
just start with that? Bring me up, bud. Okay, cool.
Then we wouldn't be having these laughs, right? But yeah.
Cool. So something that you'll see with like what James mentioned and Jenny and that is it always takes some action. Okay. Getting on a call like this, you might meet one or two people and all of a sudden you got new connections and new opportunities and stuff like that. Jenny, like your example, you obviously then had to go to that call that you weren't so keen on in the goal setting and that, but there was action involved, and that's something important for everybody to also see. Anyway, cool. Camilla, you got your hand up.
Hi, everyone. So mine is more action-based. It's not actually a connection, but I did hear about the place in which I met the person from someone else. So I'm now working at home, but previously I worked at a co-working space, and that's where I met my big client. I just started freelancing, and within the first year, we started working together, and ever since we've been working, and yeah, obviously brought me a lot of work.
Okay, cool.
But that was actually, I had to go to that co-working space too for that connection to happen. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay, cool. No, that's fine. You've answered the second part. Cool. All right, I'm going to ask the next question. Unless there's somebody else that wants to share, then I'm going to go into the next question, which ties into this first question a little bit. And I'll post it here so everybody can see it in the chat box. Everybody should be able to see that. So what strategies has worked best for you in expanding your professional network? So what strategies has worked best for you? Or what strategies, and let's just say any strategy that's worked for you in building your professional network. Crystal, go for it.
Sure. So one of the first things I learned, because I started networking probably in around 2011, is that connecting other people first before looking for my own connections became extremely helpful. Because if I heard someone was looking for something, I'd say, hey, Miles, here's Quentin, I think you guys, there's a good opportunity for you guys. Can I introduce you? And in most cases, people say yes. I haven't had anyone say, no, please don't introduce me to anyone. And as a result of doing that for other people, I started getting referrals. So most of the networks that I've been part of, I can't say that I've gotten business directly from the network. If I had to say everybody in the room gave me business, but most of the business has been that word of mouth referral from someone in a networking room who then referred someone else at another networking event because they're networking elsewhere back to me. So I've been very fortunate that I haven't had to do much marketing outside of networking, because I think networking has been my best strategy to grow. And that's truly said.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Crystal. So I usually play this game when I do the meetups of who here wants business introductions. Everybody's hand should go up if they're very honest, unless you don't need more business. But now I want to ask you the question: who here in the last day has done business and given a business introduction to somebody else? Okay, usually I don't get any hands. And then I'll usually say, okay, in the last week, who's done a business introduction? And then still no hands. And then maybe after 3 months, I get to that. Then, and what it shows you is the disconnect, right? Okay, everybody wants business introductions, but nobody's doing them. So that's what Crystal's pointing at. That's why, again, in the app, that's why we have business introduction Wednesdays and all these kind of things, is to get you to start doing business introduction, not for you, for other people, because again, if everybody starts doing it, then you can obviously see the effect that happens, and it's 100% very powerful way of building your own network is giving before you take. And I say this all the time: networking is a give before you take. Okay, cool.
So just one thing I would add there, Quentin, is consistency. Is you have to consistently show up. You can't go to 1 or 2 networking events. And I've seen so many people fail because they go to 1 or 2 and they go, oh, I didn't get any business. It's not worth my while. For me to get some of those referrals, took a good few years of building credibility and relationships with people. And so stick it through. And I love that we've got people who are young who are starting, because if we could have started at the age that they're starting at now, I think that would have been incredible. We're still benefiting, doesn't matter what age you join, but just consistently showing up builds bigger credibility as well. Because as you said, if you do one thing one way, people are going to know if you're showing up there consistently, that you're likely going to show up consistently in how you're delivering what it is that you offer as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. And then something just to add, or I just want to add, I'm going to come to you now, Ishana, is my biggest clients have all come through introductions or referrals. It's not through Facebook marketing. It's not through TikToks and all of that marketing stuff. It's all done through my biggest clients. Have always come through my current network or introductions from other clients and stuff like that. All of them. Okay. What I want to say is a lot of people get stuck because they do the networking part, but they don't know how to ask for business introductions and those kind of things. And that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to go into it now, but that again, that's why I'm sharing it in the app. You'll see tidbits around there. There'll be a networking short course that I'm sharing in the next day or two there. Again, you need to understand networking is a skill. Okay, it's a learned skill that it's yeah. So it's not something that you just I always thought networking is always for people that are smooth talkers and whatever, and it's completely not that. Okay, cool. Ishana, you had your hand up, but then I don't know if you chickened out, but now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Thanks, Quentin. It got raised by mistake, but I did want to say that I'm quite new to this world of networking. I've been in corporate for a long time, and I don't know, you don't really build connections in while you're in that space, because you kind of working with a team and you're working in this company. So I'm in this community now, just generally on my own for 3 months, and I'm learning a lot. Especially when it comes to networking. I mean, I come with expertise, which is obviously my service offering, my business, but there's a lot to learn as a self-entrepreneur on how to network yourself. And it's been good. I am consistent in these meetings, and your app is very useful. So I'm hoping to learn a bit more and get better at this networking skill as time goes on.
Awesome. And 100%, half of it is showing up. Okay, so half the battle's won by just being here and stuff like that. So let me ask you this. I just want to ask you just quickly, what is it? What industry are you in, or what's your business?
Well, I'm a consultant, and I focus on business processes and strategy. So mostly building standard operating procedures, strategic roadmaps, and really just simplifying all of this information into a usable format.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks. Alrighty. Cool. Anybody else want to share? I can't even remember what the question was now. What strategies works best for you in expanding your professional network? Anybody else want to share anything else on that? I'm going to put Miles on the spot. Miles, what's one strategy that's worked for you in building or expanding your professional network?
Yeah, for me, it's all been, like you guys talking about, just consistency and showing up. It's funny. I've had a long career in sales, but I just can't sell. It's like, it's just not my thing. Selling is just not my thing. But I've always just built relationships with people. So I'm here to connect today, to build the connections, meet people. The sales come, they come on their own, and it's because I have relationships with people. So being consistent, showing up, always around, being helpful, connecting people, it's all what make people remember me. So when they need my product, I'm at top of mind. My competition might be pumping out ads or anything like that, but they don't have a relationship with them. So it's relying on that relationship.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So just to add two things that came to mind there for me now is just 100% is if you don't have enough clients or you want to expand your network, and that I always tell people when I'm coaching and stuff like that, business owners and that, is to start serving. Okay. Just get out there and start helping people solve problems. And when you serve them and you serve them well, typically they want to continue doing business with you. That's how I create my coaching clients. Okay. I'll give them some coaching, I'll help them with a few things, and then typically they want to continue with that relationship. Not everybody does. Sometimes the problem's solved or they think it's solved and then they move on. But a lot of times when I've helped them solve a few problems or serve them in some way, they naturally want to continue. Okay, so serving is a very powerful way. If you don't have enough clients in that, go and help some people solve some problems. Go and find problems. Oftentimes when I'm coaching salespeople and that is I always ask them to go and find as many problems as they possibly can. Okay, because when you find the problems, you also find the opportunities. Okay, that's how it works. Cool. We've got about 7 minutes left. I did share the link to the app. If you're not on the app, okay, it's great that you're on this call. These calls are going to start getting locked down in the sense that it's only going to be for our community members. But at the moment, these calls are still, you can join them for free if you will. The app is there. The app is the next logical way of growing your network. You're on this call, it's fantastic. A lot of the people that are on this call are in the app. Okay, what I want to encourage you with is the reason why that app is there. It allows you to start networking with people that are there for the same reason. Okay, Miles loves this word, like-minded people, but I don't know how else to describe it. It is a whole bunch of like-minded people that also want to network, grow their network, that are motivated, that are committed. Okay. The fact that you're on this call tells me that you are committed to growing your business or growing your network in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So the app is the next step, because that's why we created this 50 Rand a month membership. It allows you now very little money. You can go there, you can message Miles directly. Hey, Miles, we're on the call together. I'd love to jump on a connect call. You do a 15 to 20-minute connect call, and that way you guys start building a relationship. That's how you start networking effectively. It's through what Miles said, building relationships. I don't sell my coaching as well. I never sell my coaching. Okay, I don't. All I do is serve people, help them with problems, and then they typically want to continue working with me. Okay, so I don't try and sell. I come from a sales space. I was in 13 years in copiers and printers and Nashua and all that, and Konica Minolta and all that. That's hardcore selling, shoving stuff down people's throats, like literally almost manipulation kind of selling. Okay, I don't do that. I had to unlearn all that crap. Okay, and basically now I just help people, I serve people, and through that they want to start doing business usually with me. If not everybody, but a lot of people. So very important thing that's why I'm adamant the whole time. If you're on that app or in our WhatsApp groups or whatever it is constantly you need to be connecting. Everything, if you see a pattern today, take note. Every connection that was made here today or that people referred to was all started through a conversation. Okay, everything starts with a conversation. Either if you get a referral, it started with a conversation. Somebody was having a conversation with somebody else about you. Okay, that's how the referral comes. If you want business introductions, it starts with conversations. Everything starts with conversations. Okay, that's why I always tell people, especially when I'm coaching salespeople, and that first thing I get to do is open up your calendar so I can have a look at your calendar, and then I'll see blank spots all over. That is a problem. Okay, if you're a business owner or you're in sales, you need to be in conversations all day, every day. If you're not, like, if you're a coach, then when you're not coaching, you should be having conversations. And here's just something I want to share with the networking. People overcomplicate networking. They think it's like you got to set it. I network everywhere. Okay, my daughter knows. She used to get highly embarrassed. She doesn't anymore because she's just used to it now. She knows if I go to a restaurant, I'm going to have a conversation with somebody, whether it's the waiter or the manager or somebody that I see, but I'm constantly having conversations. Okay, so, and I want to say this: you can also network creatively. Okay, you can network by going to a local coffee shop. You can network by going to play paddle. Okay, everybody knows my situation with the paddle. I moved to Belito, didn't know a single soul in this town. Okay, and met everybody through paddle tennis. So you can do things like that too. It's not like you have to go to formal networking events and whatever. Quite often, the best business is done through social circles, not even in professional settings. Very important, when you do these connect calls, you're learning a skill. You're learning a skill of getting on a call with somebody and having awkward moments, and you don't know what to say. What do you ask? Like, how do you build rapport? And so do you have dogs? So do you have cats? You'll start with that, but you're learning skills. Eventually, you'll start building rapport where I can build rapport with somebody in 5 seconds. Okay. And the way you build rapport with somebody without this becoming a coaching session, it's a tip that's very, very helpful, is be curious. Okay. If you want to build rapport with somebody, just be curious. Hey, so I was just wondering, those shoes, where did you get those shoes? Those are cool shoes. Whatever it is, obviously be authentic, because otherwise people pick up on it, but be authentic about it, but be curious. Okay. And that's how you start conversations, and that as well, is just be curious. Anyway, so that's the thing I wanted to share. There's the app. I was going to try and do another question, but we don't have enough time. We've got 2 minutes left. So here's what I want to say. Let's maybe take the last 2 minutes. Anybody got questions around the app or the community or what to do next? Maybe you're like, okay, what's the next step? Maybe let me share that if nobody's got a question. Next step, Shana, go for it.
Hi, Quentin. I've got the app on my phone. I wanted to find out if it's available on through the App Store on Mac on my laptop, because I couldn't find it.
No, so you can't. It doesn't have. To answer your question, no, it's not. You can do the web interface. So there's 2 parts to this. The app is the main platform. Then when you've created an account, go to elitemastermindnetwork.com, the website, and there you can log on and you can have the web interface on your thing. Just so you know, the web interface is actually quite some of the things are actually more user friendly. So I pretty much use the desktop version for most of the stuff. When I'm posting and connecting with people, it's easier.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not at my computer, then I use the app and that. The app, just so that you know a little bit of background, the reason why we went with the app is because the in-app purchases are done through the app, and that gets managed through Google and iOS. So we don't have to manage who's paid, who hasn't paid. And that's why we moved to the app, because we had the WhatsApp group, and it was becoming an absolute admin nightmare to try and manage who's paid, who hasn't paid, and all kinds of things. So that's why the app is really there. The main reason is your subscription gets managed through there. So I don't have to, it's all automated. But the web version is way more, let me just be cautious here. Some of the stuff is a little bit more user friendly on the desktop version. So you just go to elitemastermindnetwork.com. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to stick to the time. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Lekker to meet everybody. Hopefully sometime I'll maybe meet you guys in Cape Town. If you're in Blouberg, we've got a meetup there. We've got a meetup in Durban, a meetup in Joburg and Bryanston. And hopefully I'll see you either in the community or again on some of the other calls. Have a lekker week and we'll chat soon.